Welcome to the Ball Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is regarding Donald Trump being indicted on federal charges related to document handling and obstruction of justice. Before we get into any of the details, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. The question of the day is, do you think the justice system has a little bit of a double standard? You think Lady Justice is peeking under that blindfold a little bit too much geared towards Republicans and conservatives and not as much towards Democrats? Let us know in the comment section below. Former President Trump has been indicted on federal charges that emerged out of special counsel Jack Smith's months-long investigation. Trump is listed in the indictment, which has not been unsealed, as a criminal defendant. He's been ordered to appear in federal court in Miami on Tuesday. What's going to be interesting is on Tuesday, if Miami's going to have as much security as New York did, because New York spent millions, like an astronomical amount of money, on Trump showing up. Furthermore, Trump himself announced the indictment on his social media platform, Truth Social. Sources say federal prosecutors informed Trump's attorneys of the indictment a short time before he revealed it. Here's a quote from Trump. "The corrupt Biden administration has informed my attorneys that I have been indicted, seemingly over the boxes hoax. Even though Joe Biden has 1,850 boxes at the University of Delaware, additional boxes in Chinatown, D.C., with even more boxes at the University of Pennsylvania, and documents strewn all over his garage floor where he parks his Corvette, and which is, quote-unquote, secured by only a garage door that is paper thin, and open much of the time," Trump said on Truth Social. Look, Trump, not wrong. Not wrong. We've said it. Jackie Heinrich said it. Peter Doocy said it. I mean, hell, the entire press corps said it. Documents strewn everywhere, but no investigations on Joe Biden. No, of course not. Trump said he has, quote, been summoned to appear at federal courthouse in Miami on Tuesday at 3 p.m. This is the second time Trump has been indicted this year. Trump pleaded not guilty, if you recall, in April after being charged by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. Now, there was a whole statute of limitations argument that we talked about here on the Bald Brad Show. We don't think he should have been indicted and all these other things. But the Democrats are going crazy. The leftists are trying to praise to the heavens, of which they don't believe in, that he does get locked up for all this. Look, they're doing everything they can to go after this man. Furthermore, it said, "I never thought it possible that such a thing could happen to a former president of the United States who received far more votes than any sitting president in history of our country and is currently leading by far all candidates, both Democrat and Republican, in polls of the 2024 presidential election. I am an innocent man." They've done everything to go after this guy. I mean, they've literally gone through his underwear drawer. He's been raided. Joe Biden hasn't been raided. I mean, the FBI's shown up, and then we were lied about that. And we weren't just lied about the classified documents with Joe Biden like once or twice. We were lied to 4 times. We did a whole series on the Bald Brad Show about Karine Jean-Pierre and the Biden administration trying to throw all this under the rug as if it never happened. And when it did happen, they're like, "Oh, well, we didn't know about it." Or, "Oh, I didn't know about it." And again, the same press briefing, as she knew about it that morning, she still lied to the press and told them that she didn't know about it. I mean, it's insane. It's insane, but they're going to go after this man. I mean, it's so astonishing that the amount of stuff, and we'll get to that in our second segment, about Joe Biden, the whistleblower with that whole thing. Well, folks, wait till we get into that story, because it's going to piss you off that Donald Trump's being indicted on these federal charges and nothing's happening to Joe Biden. It's astonishing. I mean, Hillary Clinton walked away with a server in her bathroom and going, "Well, I didn't know I couldn't have material in a server in my bathroom." Who the hell has a server in their bathroom? And then you just bleep bitch the whole thing and scrub it. "Oh, I didn't know." And no charges. It's astonishing. We all see it. We all see the double standard here. Furthermore, Trump added, "This is indeed a dark day for the United States of America. We are in a country in serious and rapid decline." I do agree with that. "But together we will make America great again." It's amazing, you guys. I was trying to think through this too when he said he was going to run again. So remember, he was running with "Make America Great Again." That was his original slogan. I voted for Trump multiple times. I will vote for him again. I'm thinking to go, okay, well, he's already made America great again. America's pretty darn great. And then I'm like, how's this guy going to formulate this whole "Make America Great Again"? That was going to be the next slogan. But then you get Joe Biden, Democrats in office, and they destroy this country. I mean, it's going just downhill rapidly, as Trump just said. And so it's like, he's just going to run with the same slogan again. It totally makes sense. Just "Make America Great Again," because the Democrats destroyed it all. And now we're in a banana republic going after politicians that are candidates now. Like the leading candidate, the guy that's most likely to go up against Joe Biden, is sitting there with all these indictments. And you got, like, if you look on TikTok and Instagram, all these Democrats like, "Oh, Joe Biden's a criminal." Not Joe Biden, rather. I mean, he is a criminal. But they're saying Donald Trump's a criminal. That's what they're doing. Oh, he needs to be locked up. Lock him up. It's amazing. It's like this doesn't work. And for those on audio, I'm pointing the head. The Justice Department has been investigating the matter after the FBI conducted an unprecedented raid on his private residence in August 2022, where they literally went through Melania's clothing drawer. They were going all through the house, all through the residence. NARA told Congress in February 2022 that Trump took 15 boxes of presidential records to his personal residence in Florida, which, again, folks, let's be clear, he shouldn't have done that. If we're going to have linear logic, he shouldn't have done it. NARA recovered the 15 boxes from Mar-a-Lago and, quote, identified items marked as classified national security information within the boxes. The matter was referred to the Justice Department by NARA. Again, shouldn't have done it. Trump was working with them. He should have handed them over. But, Trump has to make everything difficult. That's just what the man does in certain scenarios. And so now we're in this whole bleep storm. Those boxes allegedly contained classified national security information and official correspondence between Trump and foreign heads of state. Classified material that was reportedly confiscated by the FBI during the FBI's raids in August included a letter to Trump from former President Barack Obama, a letter from Kim Jong-un, a birthday dinner menu, and a cocktail napkin. Oh my God, Oh, indictments, folks. He had the most serious of stuff on this stuff. He had a freaking napkin. He had a letter. I mean, they're acting like there's nuclear codes on all this stuff. You're acting like there's nuclear codes. Look at what Joe Biden does with the 1,850 boxes, folks. 50 boxes. But they're going to come after Trump, the leading candidate of the Republican Party. Trump last year said the National Archives did not, quote, find the documents, but they were given upon request. Sources close to the former president said he had been cooperating and there was no need for the raid. That's a lot of what we heard as well. The affidavit said the FBI's investigation had been establishing the documents bearing classification marks, which appeared to contain national defense information, and those were among the materials contained in the 15 boxes. A preliminary triage of the documents with classified markings revealed the following approximate numbers. So here we go, folks. 184 unique documents bearing classified markings, including 67 documents marked as confidential, 92 documents marked as secret, and 25 documents marked as top secret, the affidavit said. Some of these stuff, I guess, supposedly, you could only view in a SCIF. That's what they say. The FBI said it had probable cause to believe that additional records containing classified information, including national defense information, would be found on the premises of Mar-a-Lago beyond what had been previously turned over to NARA, according to the unsealed and heavy redacted affidavit used to justify the raid in the first place. Not a good look to raid. But, hey, Joe Biden just somehow invites the FBI, the National Archives over to his house and his garage in Delaware and DC and all these other places. Go, oh my God, I had almost 2,000 documents for decades. Trump was president for 4 years. Joe Biden's been in government for decades. And he's been having these documents for decades, just everywhere, strewn out in his garage. I mean, Peter Doocy questioned him. He goes, what were you thinking? He's like, oh, my garage is like the safest place ever. Oh, sure it is, Joe. Sure it is. According to the property receipt from the August 8th, 2022 FBI raid, FBI agents took approximately 20 boxes of items from the premises, including one set of documents marked as various classified SCI documents. I don't know what the hell any of that means. Top secret, I guess. Which refers to top secret, sensitive, compartmented information. Records covered by the government classification level could potentially include human intelligence and information, blah, 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 blah. Look, it's one thing to go after a president. This is unprecedented, by the way. That's never been done. But it's so obvious to everybody that you're continually going after him, but you're not going after any of the Democrats that have been corrupted for a long, long time. Look at Nancy Pelosi just somehow is making all this money off the stock market, buying strategically as if she doesn't have insider trading. Like, really? You're not even going to look under the hood on that at all? And it's not just her. There's a lot of politicians that do that. No investigations on that. No, oh God, this is awkward. I get once or twice, but the fact that it's happened for decades with Nancy Pelosi and nobody questions it, or when you do, you're just like a conspiracy theorist. Trump freaking makes a phone call with Zelensky. Oh, investigation. The FBI pays an informant. The Democrat Party, in conjunction with Hillary Clinton and others, pay an informant to make and fabricate an entire story about a Russian hoax. Entire investigation, spending millions of dollars with the Mueller investigation, and then more money with the Durham investigation that basically unlocked all this information for us that we've known about for literally ever. Dan Bongino wrote an entire book on it. Hillary Clinton, again, with the bleach bit and the server, nothing. You got the Benghazi with Trey Gowdy as the chairman of the Oversight Committee. I think it was even the Intelligence or whatever. I miss that guy, Trey Gowdy. He's one of my favorites. Trey Gowdy, Jason Chaffetz. Nothing. Nothing. I mean, there were some investigations, but nothing tangible. Nobody got fired. Nobody lost their job on these. It's amazing. It's just amazing how this constantly happens. Which moves us into our next story here. So Joe Biden, and we got to use the word allegedly, folks, because we don't want to get in trouble. Joe Biden allegedly paid $5 million by Burisma. Well, speaking of all this Russian hoax stuff, Burisma. So he allegedly paid $5 million by Burisma executive as part of a bribery scheme, according to an FBI document. So this is kind of breaking news. We've heard about a document. We've heard about these whistleblowers. Now more's coming out. So Marjorie Taylor Greene was in a skiff. She released some information. She took notes right when she left the skiff. So a lot of this is kind of coming from various sources that were kind of a part of what was revealed. So this is an exclusive. President Joe Biden was allegedly paid $5 million by an executive of, get this, the Ukrainian national gas firm Burisma Holdings, where it just so happens his son Hunter Biden was a member of the board. Hunter Biden doesn't know anything, was a member of this board. A confidential human source told the FBI during a June 2020 interview 3 years ago, and nothing came of it. The sources briefed Fox News Digital on the contents of the FBI-generated form alleging a criminal bribery scheme between then Vice President Joe Biden and a foreign national that involved influence over the U.S. policy decisions. Oh, shocker, as if we didn't know any of this. As if, we already knew a lot of this. We knew this type of stuff was happening. We could connect the dots, but for some reason, the justice system can't. The form, which was dated on June 30th, 2020, is the FBI's interview with a, quote, highly credible source, a confidential source, who detailed multiple meetings and conversations he or she had with a top Burisma executive over the course of several years, starting all the way back in 2015. Fox News Digital has not seen the form, but it was described by several sources who are aware of its contents. I heard from Marjorie Taylor Greene that one of these sources is so credible that it's literally paid for by the FBI. Now, you might go, well, how is that credible when the FBI paid for some sort of foreign national or foreign informant regarding the Russian hoax? So you got a great question there. I'm not so sure, but I tend to believe somebody that usually is an informant of the FBI that's paid on behalf of the FBI, where the Russian hoax one was only for a limited amount of time. I'm hearing a lot of people say this guy or girl is extremely credible. The form is used by FBI agents to record unverified reporting from confidential human sources. The form is used to document information as told to an FBI agent, but recording that information does not validate or weigh it against other information known by the FBI. The Burisma executive sought the advice of a confidential source, a business professional, on gaining U.S. oil rights and getting involved with a U.S. oil company. The source is familiar with the document said. The Burisma executive was speaking with the confidential source to, quote, get advice on the best way to go forward in 2015 and 2016. According to this form, this confidential document, the confidential human source said the Burisma executive discussed Hunter's role on the board. The confidential human source questioned why the Burisma executive needed his or her advice in acquiring access to U.S. oil if he had Hunter Biden on the board. Well, the Burisma executive answered by referring to Hunter Biden as dumb. Yes. I mean, that's the most truthful thing we've heard in quite some time. Yes, that's true, but carry that over to the big man named Joe Biden as well. Both are dumb. Both make extremely dumb decisions. I mean, you can look from their actions. The Burisma executive explained to the confidential source that Burisma had to, quote, pay the Bidens because Ukrainian prosecutor was investigating Burisma, and explained how difficult it would be to enter the U.S. market in the midst of that investigation. This is so astonishing. But we're not surprised here in the Ball Brad Show, are we, folks? None of us are surprised here. It's just validating what we already knew before. We're getting more information about it, but it's definitely validating a lot more. It's kind of filling in the puzzle pieces for us. The confidential source further detailed that conversation, suggesting that Burisma executive, that he pay the Bidens $50,000 each, to which the Burisma executive replied, it is not $50,000, it's $5 million. I mean, we just got done hearing stories how the Chinese paid the Biden family $3 million. I mean, there's money coming from everywhere. That's, again, not a shock to any of us. But for some reason, for the Democrats and the progressive left and the libs, it was a shock that Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, and just the Trump family was getting money from all over the world. When yes, they were a business family before they ever walked into the White House. It's not the same for the Biden administration. They were in government, and then all of a sudden, all this money comes from everywhere else as if they're running these business deals. They have all these shell companies everywhere. But, Donald Trump gets indicted on federal charges. Joe Biden walks clean. That seems to how it's the case. Maybe not. We'll see. We got a lot of Republicans opening up the doors here on maybe going after Joe Biden, or at least looking under the hood. I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but we kind of are guessing he probably did something wrong. $5 million for one Biden. $5 million for the other Biden. The Burisma executive told the confidential human source, according to a familiar source that is connected to the document, or at least knows something about the document. A source familiar said, according to the document, the $5 million payouts appeared in reference to a kind of retainer Burisma intended to pay the Bidens to deal with a number of issues, including the investigation led by Shokin, who again was kind of conducting this whole thing. Another source referred to the arrangement as a pay-to-play scheme. And sources familiar with Fox News Digital said the confidential human source believes the $5 million payment to Joe Biden and the $5 million payment to Hunter Biden occurred based on his or her own conversations with the Burisma executive, like firsthand account of what actually took place. Hey, did you pay the guy $5 million? Did you give him the $5 million? Huh? Oh, you did? You did? Okay. Oh, you cut the check yourself. You actually wrote it. Oh, okay, good. It's amazing. It's so baffling, you guys. It's wrong. It's wrong that our justice system and our government is constantly targeting the wrong people. You notice that? The people that have been in government for decades, they don't go after them. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, all that stuff's clean as day. But somebody that's been in government for literally just 4 years, named Donald Trump, doing everything he can, FBI raids, multiple counts of obstruction of justice, going after classified documents. When Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Mike Pence have classified documents, something happens, and all this other stuff. It's crazy. The confidential source said that Burisma executive told he paid the Bidens in such a manner through so many different bank accounts that investigators would not be able to unravel this for at least 10 years. And we talked about that here on the Ball Brad Show. We said most likely what took place was there is an entanglement, a spider web of transactions that you would be able to follow it at some point, but you need some freaking savant and some auditing and forensic accounting to be able to track all this stuff. You could do it, but boy, oh boy, is it going to take some time? Like you said, it's 10 years. So they've been in the government for a long time. They got connections all over the place, but nothing's going to be done. The document then makes reference to the big guy, which we heard of, and who does the big guy reference? Even Joe Biden's business partner, Hunter Biden's business partner, one of the two, literally said, that's Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the big guy. So again, bits and pieces of this we already knew because the people closest to Joe Biden, business partners to Joe Biden, said all this stuff was happening. Nothing's being done. But like I said, there's been stories where literally Donald Trump hand was shaking on a glass of water. He's unfit to hold office. Joe Biden falls on his face up a flight of stairs, downstairs, off a freaking sandbag. And you have the New York Times come out with an article, and now he's fit. He has striking stamina. He's sharp as day. This is what we're dealing with. It's like we're not only we live in a banana republic, we're being gaslit by our own government constantly. I know none of us are shocked. I'm fully aware of when none of us are shocked. It baffles me still. I know a lot of people write in the comments, Brad, how are you so in shock and baffled? What the hell? Do we not just have morality anymore? Do we not just have a system of what is actual truth and what is false anymore? I guess not. Maybe I shouldn't be shocked, but it's like, God, I still hold out hope here. We live in the greatest country that God ever created. I got to hold out some sort of hope, people. No, understand, please. So the Burisma executive told the confidential source that he didn't pay the big guy directly. Oh, here we go. Fox News Digital has learned that the confidential human source has been used by the FBI as a regular, reliable source of information since 2010. So this is kind of what I was referring to earlier. And has been paid approximately $200,000. Now, it's not the first time an informant's been paid by the FBI that fabricated something. Again, that kind of comes from the Russian hoax that we helped unravel, or at least report on from the Durham report. So, folks, I know it's an obvious and easy question to answer, but should Joe Biden be investigated here? Do you think Joe Biden should be indicted on some sort of charges, just as Donald Trump did for just having a box with a napkin in it? These classified documents, classified guys, him having a napkin with a drawing on it. Probably something he drew up himself, but let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Well, moving in our last story of the day, this kind of segues us into Supernatural Saturdays for tomorrow, is I know a lot of us probably don't believe in UFOs. There's the other side of us where we're not sure what to believe in. I'm kind of on that spectrum of like, man, there's this evidence that's come out. I get a lot of this congressional hearing stuff of talking about it. Like, I'm really involved in it, so I don't know whether to believe it. And you have those that just outright just believe. So there's those that don't believe, those are I don't know, and those that just believe. So I think you get what I'm doing. I got a little confused. I'm a little under the weather, folks. I don't know if you can tell. I am sweating up a storm, but we're gonna hold it together. So there's all this information come out, UFOs. You have these whistleblowers. You're having more footage come out from the Marines in California showing I guess it was a triangle-shaped UFO. It's just coming out. More and more is coming out. You have a disclosure coming out from Dr. Greer, I think on the 10th. All this stuff's kind of coming out at once, and I feel like it's going to hit a point here where Congress is going to go, we're going to find this out. And I just want to specify this here. I was actually going to save it for Supernatural Saturday. We have a congressman that was asked by Fox News straight up, are we finally going to get answers? The guy, and they gave him 15 seconds. He actually answered it in 10. He goes, we're not alone, and we're going to get you guys answers. What the hell? So the report was stunning. So there's a report that came out from this whistleblower, a decorated former combat officer in Afghanistan and a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. I didn't even know that existed. And the National Reconnaissance Office. So could this guy be making all this up? Sure. But benefit of the doubt, have a little bit of fun here. Declared this week that he had given Congress reams of classified information about covert U.S. government programs that he says are now in possession of an intact craft of non-human origin. I heard there's pictures of, it's not like a story. Okay, I'm just trying to feed in. We're going to go further in detail tomorrow on Supernatural Saturdays. We're going to watch a lot of stuff here, all about this. The guy that interviewed this guy supposedly says the whistleblower has like everything you would need to prove it. It's not like just a story. There's photographs, there's footage, there's documentation. Like, this is not just I pulled this out of my you-know-what. This guy came strapped, ready to go. So when I heard that, it created more credibility of one's case. So much so that Congress is kind of a little bit alarmed right now with all this. And rightfully so. Because one of the theories is that they're kept out of the loop. Like, Congress doesn't know, the president doesn't know. Going back to Bill Clinton's time, he tried to get information, can't get it. Dr. Greer believes it's some black project stuff. That's where, trillions of dollars have been going. Many of you, I'm sure, are aware. I think it was either the day before or the day of 9/11. They couldn't track $2 trillion. And I believe, and forgive me, I'm trying to really reach back my memory. I believe where they were either doing the audit or where they had the paperwork was in the same region as to where the plane hit the Pentagon. Looking at that yourself, but I'm really trying to pull back like a long time ago to see if I can get that information. But I should have had it prepared before I walked into this, but we ad-lib a lot of this, folks. I just kind of, we just talk about it and have a little bit of fun and reaction. So this guy's 36. He was the reconnaissance officer's representative to the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena UAP Task Force from 2019 to 2021. I believe this is Lou Elizondo's task force, who kind of talks about aliens a lot. And then from 2021 to July 2022, he was the NGA's co-lead for UAP analysis and its representative to the task force. I didn't know he was that well connected. I thought he was just some like military guy for the intelligence community that was just like, oh yeah, we have this information. I got it from some dude. Looks like he's like really well connected here on this UFO UAP stuff. The UAP expert said the information was illegally withheld from Congress. I've heard the same thing on a multitude of counts. And he filed a complaint alleging that he suffered illegal retaliation from his confidential disclosures. This comes from the debrief.com. Wow. Well, this guy says the recoveries of partial fragments through and up to intact vehicles have been made for decades through the present day by the government, its allies, and defense contractors. We've heard this kind of in stories of crashed spacecraft in South America being recovered by the military there and our allies, but being basically exported out to kind of our military installations here to look further into it. Analysis had determined that the objects retrieved are of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, based on the vehicle morphologies and material science testing and the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures. Holy lordy! These are big words, folks, this morning. These are big words. So this is all in the report. What I find fascinating, again, is all the UFO reports that are coming out. I mean, just recently, there was a family, and it was caught on body cam footage of a police officer. This object coming out of the sky and crashing was caught on a body cam of an officer. And then they get a 911 call later on that there are these 8 to 9 foot beings. It's on a 911 phone call in somebody's backyard with this craft and all this stuff going on. And so they called the police out, and the officer's like, look, I know this sounds crazy, but did you guys see a craft or something fall out of the sky? And he's like, I wouldn't ask you this, but my partner got it on film, and we're getting reports all over the place of a mass sighting of this thing coming out of the sky. This happened like this week. And the lady's like, I don't know if I saw anything. He's like, I know. He's like kind of laughing it off. He's like, look, if my partner said he saw it, I got to basically go with it. It sounds crazy as hell. And the officer's kind of freaking out. Then he goes to the family's house that reported all this on 911. And the kid's like, I saw like an 8, 9 foot being just walking around. It was staring at us. It was super freaky. I was scared to death. All these things. Could it be fake? Absolutely. But the officers were freaking out. They were losing their ish. So that was on Monday. And since then, basically nothing has happened. Well, we know Congress has the info, but lawmakers aren't releasing it. And no one seems to care. Well, I don't know about that last bit. Again, this is an opinion piece. I'm not sure if I really think that no one cares. Again, Congress, from my understanding, is going to try to do some sort of congressional hearing on this. So we can look forward to that. Of course, reports of unidentified flying objects have nearly always been scorned. Some pilots don't open or start a report, or they don't report them at all because they'll basically be labeled as nutballs, like crazy psychos. But in 2020, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence sought an official report on UAP from the intelligence community. This is where we find out, and Marco Rubio found out basically about these unidentified objects flying over military installations, and not just ours, but China and Russia as well, literally lighting up nuclear warheads, like about to launch them and just like stopping it. I mean, there's so much information we can go on and on, but I do want to bring this to your attention. It's a fun story. It leads us into Supernatural Saturdays. There's a lot of people that do join us for that. I understand there's a lot of reactions. I have a ton of fun doing it. It seems like, oh, well, they're just reaction videos, and they are. But really, a part of Supernatural Saturdays is for us to hang out as a community, have fun, get away from the politics and craziness of the world, and dive into adventures of like Bigfoot, aliens, UFOs, the paranormal ghosts, and go through those videos that we see. And we understand a lot of them are fake, but we want to sift through it and kind of find the ones that we don't think are fake, and then come together as a community to be like, yeah, you know, that one seemed kind of real. That one seemed not legit. That one was definitely fake. And I kind of try to spitball some stuff here and have a lot of fun. So join us tomorrow for Supernatural Saturdays as we go through the interview from this guy. We'll try to go over some sidebar footage and stuff as well, and see what we got in all of this. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I apologize. I am a little under the weather, but hey, we did an episode nonetheless. Check out our catalog. Buy the book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. I would say it's a #1 bestseller, but it's not. Can we try to get it up there, though? You can get on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Walmart. Links are all in the description. If you go to baldbrad.com, we got merchandise. We have mugs. We got, I don't think we have hats anymore. We have shirts. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there. You get a signed copy of the book, too, as well. With that being said, again, hit that like and subscribe button, folks. I'll see you tomorrow here on the